Let's talk about leadership. It really doesn't matter if you're running a giant company or just leading a small project team. At the end of the day, leadership skills are what make the difference between success and failure. So in this explainer, we're going to break down 10 super powerful ways you can sharpen those skills and become way more effective, starting right now.
It all kind of starts with this age-old question, right? We've all met those people who just seem like natural leaders. They walk in a room, they've got that charisma. But is leadership really something you're just born with? Or is it a skill, something that anyone, and yeah, that includes you, can learn, practice, and actually master over time?
Well, the truth is, it's a bit of both. Sure, some people might have a head start with certain traits, but here's the really crucial part. In our world that's changing so fast, nobody can just rely on natural talent. Leadership is a dynamic skill. You have to constantly sharpen it, otherwise it's gonna get dull. Okay, so before we jump into the 10 practical tips, we gotta lay the groundwork. Let's look at the 5 core skills that are the absolute foundation of great leadership. Seriously, think of these as the pillars that everything else is built on. Let's run through them. It all starts with honesty, which is the absolute bedrock of trust. Then you've got communication, and hey, that means listening just as much as you talk. A leader has to lead by example, live up to the standards they expect from others. Then comes decisiveness, making those tough calls, but also having the flexibility to adapt. And finally, empowerment. This is way more than just handing off tasks. It's about trusting your team to grow and really own their work. These 5 pillars, they're totally non-negotiable. So, with that solid foundation in place, let's get to the main event. 10 powerful, actionable tips to keep your leadership skills razor sharp. You can think of this as your practical toolkit for continuous growth. Our first tip is to find a mentor, and the reason why is wrapped up in this one number, 70%. That's the survival rate of mentored businesses after 5 years. That's double the rate of those without one. A good mentor brings experience, objective feedback, and a perspective you just can't get on your own. Tip number 2, sharpen your project management skills. I mean, think about it. Almost every single initiative today is a project. If you, as the leader, aren't on top of modern planning, risk assessment, and time management, there's no way you can guide your team to excellence. This is a huge part of leading from the front. Tip number 3 is a really fundamental mindset shift. You have to be a lifelong learner. The most effective leaders out there are just relentlessly curious. They don't see learning as some chore, it's a passion. This habit of always seeking new knowledge is what builds the mental agility and the confidence to handle any challenge that comes your way. Now, this next tip kind of flips a familiar process on its head. Tip number 4 is to actively ask for feedback. Just like the quote says, performance reviews should not be a one-way street. When you actually ask for input from your team, you're not just showing humility, you're uncovering critical blind spots you would totally miss otherwise. It is one of the most powerful tools for growth you can have. The next 3 tips, 5, 6, and 7, are all about empowering your team, and they really work together. So tip 5 is about prioritizing engagement, creating a culture where people feel like their work actually matters. Then tip 6 is recognizing that work. And this doesn't have to be some big bonus. Even a simple, genuine thank you can be incredibly powerful. And that brings us to tip 7. You have to actively encourage contributions from everyone. The next brilliant idea can come from anywhere, but only if you create a space where people feel safe and valued enough to share it. Tip number 8 is a big one. Don't be afraid to ask for help. This says it all, right? Knowing your limits is not a weakness. It's a strategic strength. Trying to do everything yourself just leads to burnout and failure. Knowing when to ask for help shows that you're focused on the best outcome, not on your own ego. Our final 2 tips are all about being a present, a human leader. Tip 9, be visible. Don't hide out in an office. Walk the floor, have real conversations with people. And that leads right into tip 10, keep it light. A good sense of humor, the ability to laugh at yourself, doesn't just manage stress, it makes you a more relatable and authentic leader that people actually want to follow. So as we start to wrap this up, let's bring it all together. All of these skills and all of these tips, they all point to one central idea. Your leadership journey, it's not some destination you just arrive at one day. It's a continuous process of growth, not a quest for perfection. This quote just perfectly captures the spirit of everything we've talked about. Staying sharp as a leader is less about perfection and more about consistent, intentional growth. It's not about being flawless. It's about the daily, conscious effort you put in to get just a little bit better. That right there is what defines a truly great leader.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Look back at what we've covered, from those 5 core skills to the 10 practical tips, and just ask yourself, what is the one thing you learned today that you can put into practice to become a better leader tomorrow?